we're starting moderate number 5. Let's see how this one goes. That has to be, one of those two has to be the 9, because those 2 columns and that row are already taken. These 2 rows and this column is taken, so this 9 has to be either there or there. This row is taken, so this 9 has to be there or there. And that's all to note for now. Nothing really on the 8s, so let's look at the 7s. That column and this row are knocked out, so this 7 has to be there. Now this column is the only one that's still open. Both of these rows are knocked out, so that 7 has to be there. This column is knocked out by that 7, so this 7 has to be in this column. Can't be here, must be there. This one, both of these rows are knocked out, so it's got to be in this row, but not here or here due to those, so it's got to be there. These 2 columns and these 2 rows are knocked out, so that 7 is there. To the 6s, these 2 columns are knocked out, these 2 rows are knocked out. There's my 6. Let's see, we've got this row is knocked out, but nothing else. Yeah, nothing else worth notating right now. Not enough on 5s either. All right, so we've got these 2 columns and this row is knocked out, so there's the 4 there. This column is knocked out, so that means that this 4 has to be in this row on either side. That means that these 2 rows are taken, so this one has to be in this row, but it can't be here, so it must be there. Now these 2 columns are taken, so that one has to go there. And these 2 rows are taken, so this one has to be in that top row on either side. Looking at the 3s, we've got this column and this row taken, so there's my 3. That means that this one has to be in this row since these 2 rows are taken, and it has to be in this column since these 2 columns are taken. And let's see, now we've got these 2 columns taken, so that one has to be there. We've got this row taken, this column taken, so this one has to be there, and this one has to be in the middle column. Has to be right there because that one's blocked. On to the 2s. This 2 blocks out this row, so that means that the 2 there has to be in that column. Let's see. Not a lot else. You could say the 2 has to be here or here because that column is blocked. That's about it worth notating. The 1s. These 2 1s block these 2 columns. This one blocks the row. So there's that one. And now these 2 rows are blocked. So there's that one. These 2 columns are blocked. And this row. Oops. So there's that one. And this row are blocked. So there's this one. This column is blocked. This row. There's our 1 there. So starting back at the 9s. Got more information now. These 2 columns are blocked, so there's the 9. Now these 2 rows are blocked, and there's the 9. I'll skip up to here. This row is blocked, so there's the 9. This column and these 2 rows are blocked, so there's the 9. And these 2 rows and these 2 columns are blocked, so there's our 9. The 8, I know it has to be in this top row here because those are the only 2 positions left. I know that it has to be here because that one says it has to be the 2, and it does because the 2 blocks out there, so it's got to be there. So that means that this 8 has to be here in that row. I know that that blocks that row, so this 8 has to be in that column, which blocks that and means this 8 has to be in that row. That now blocks that one, so this 8 has to be in this row. Because these and these have to be the 8s, that means both of these columns have already been accounted for. 1 8 will be in one column and 1 8 will be in the other column. So that means this one, in this box, the 8 has to be in the right-hand column. And that's the only spot left for it, which means that one has to be there. These block this row, these block this row, so this 8 has to be here. You can see we have the sets. That's a matched set, that's a matched set, that's a matched set. So once we get some information, a lot will fall into place all at the same time. Let's see, the 6 up here has to be in this top row because that's all that's available. So that means that in this square, it has to be in the middle row, and that's the last square available in the middle row. Likewise, these two block those columns, so this has to be there. This blocks this row, this blocks this row, so this has to be here, which then makes that one there, and we've got all of our 6s placed. The 5 is blocked in that row, so it has to be down here in this row, and that means that it has to be in the middle row on that square. Let's see, we know that the 5 has to be in one of these two columns. It has to be really in these 3 here. I'll mark it so you can see, which means that there is no 5 for this column here, or here, or here, because they're taken. It could be there and nowhere else. So this 5 has to go right there. That's now going to block out that row and mean this 5 has to be there. That's going to block out this row and mean this 5 has to be there. That's going to block out this, that blocked the column. This blocks the row, which means this 5 is there. That's going to block this column, meaning this 5 is there. These two columns are blocked, so that 5 is there because that row is blocked by that. And that is almost all of our 5s placed. We're going to go back to the 8s because I see a couple 8s all by themselves that we could easily fit in. And there's all the 8s from our previous note taking. Now this 5 is left by itself and I can fill in the rest of the 5s. So let's look at the 4s. This 4 is all by itself. This 4 is now by itself. And the 2s fill in all the boxes we have not yet filled. And there it is.